book. I think you mentioned that.
Yes, he loved it.
Yes, yes,
He
yeah.
was the complete star of my book.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mick didn't like it. What's your reaction? I guess he didn't like Keith's book neither. So,
Well, that's understandable. I don't really talk about the Rolling Stones anymore.
Right,
I'm
right.
really pleased and grateful and proud to have been part of that generation, part of the 60s generation. I learnt an awful lot from the Stones. I'm so grateful for As Tears Go By. It was a wonderful thing to write Sister Morphine with Mick Jagger. But on a personal level, my friendship with Keith is really private, and I don't answer questions about the Stones anymore. You've already got more than anybody, so it's kind of over now. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
It's astounding. It's very moving to how dark the years were in the 70s. What do you think? What was there, like a moment when you realized this summer of love isn't just not happening the way we want it? What was it for you?
No, I mean, listen, the 70s were fantastic for a lot of people. You can't say that. I may have had a hard time in the 70s, and I did, but it picked up. I made Broken English and things got better. No, I never believed in the summer of love. The summer of love was a media invention, like Carnaby Street. It's all made up, I think there was an obvious crash for some of us after the 60s, yes, because what goes up so high will have to fall. I know that. And for some people it was the end. Yeah. I was very lucky.
You allow me one question about the Beatles, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
It's the Stones, I think.
Okay, well, I understand that completely. Yeah. One section in your book, I loved it, you were so close, and you described this moment when you, I think, heard for the first time. Was it "Hey Jude"?
Yeah.
Yes. Could you just tell us in a short version how that happened, because it's so fascinating.
Well, I don't know if I could do it any better than I did it in the book.
That's true.
That's where you really get the right version. It was in the mid-60s, I think. Yeah. And the cocaine dealer of the Stones opened a club called the Vesuvio Club, and it was actually only opened for one night, that night. And it was just a room in Tottenham Court Road, actually, in a basement, with a lot of cushions and a great sound system. So we were all sort of lying around like wonderful decadent 60s people, like you do, on various substances, on my case nothing too hard, and playing music and enjoying ourselves. And then Paul came in, Paul McCartney, looking like he'd laid an egg, which of course he had. And he quietly went up to Tony, the coke dealer, and said he had an acetate, could he put it on? And it was Hey Jude. And it just blew everything away. And Paul and the Stones and the Beach Boys and everybody, they were all very competitive, Brian Wilson would get hold of the new Beatles record, and Paul would get hold of the new Brian Wilson record. They had to know they had to compete. But really, when you're talking about the Beatles, there's nobody who can compete. You can't even imagine what it's like to be a Beatle. And I love Paul, and I see him quite a lot, But he is a Beatle, and that's that.
Now, talking about the 7 deadly sins, there's Anna 1, there's Anna 2. Is Marian faithful like the result of those two? personas?
No, Marianne Faithfull is those two personas.
Okay, I see.
For the duration of the show. I mean, not always.
Right,
No.
right.
No. I have to be both.
Right. But I guess you have to have this life experience like you had to live these personas on stage. No?
Get
That's
young little sopranos singing this part with absolutely no life experience. You know, if I had become a classical singer, which I could have done, I could have been singing this role of Anna at 22. You know, no, of course you don't. That's what's unique about my performance. That's all, is that people get this frisson of, oh, she must know the Seven Deadly Sins so well. You know, and I do, because I'm an aware, conscious human being. I mean, if you're not aware of it, the Seven Deadly Sins, you're dead, I think.
Which is of all these sins, which one is no?
You're not.
Go on.
Yeah. Well, of all the Seven Deadly Sins, which one is your favourite?
Oh no, not at all. Which one is the hardest to resist?
There are quite a few. It's impossible to resist.
Yeah.
Really. And then, you know, you congratulate yourself, or I used to congratulate myself and say that, well, I haven't suffered much from envy, you know, but I'm sure I have. I'm sure there's nothing to be proud of in my moral character. I mean, I know I have pride is my main one, you know. Sloth, gluttony, anger. I'm not too angry anymore. Actually, I'm not angry, but I used to be. Yeah. I'm not bothered with lust anymore, but I used to be. It's interesting. Yeah.
Why aren't you that angry anymore?
I don't know. It's just part of getting older and really understanding my life. You know, I don't have to get angry anymore. I was angry. When I was a sort of inarticulate, flailing, angry little person saying, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? And I honestly didn't understand. And I thought everyone was out to get me and all that stuff. And I know now. So I don't, I know that, I know the situation. I see it very clearly. I'm not angry anymore. Yeah.
Something that touched me also very much was how you described that it was a painter who helped you out when you were walking on the streets of London, a very skinny girl.
Great painter.
A very fantastic painter, yeah.
He was a friend of mine, not a very good friend, and he was a really nice guy, you know, and he noticed me, and he couldn't do much about it, you know. Francis never questioned people's lifestyle choices, you know, really, but he did what he could to help. And in my case, I was also anorexic. Apart from living on the street and taking heroin, I was anorexic. So he would give me lunch now and again, which I thought was really nice of him.
Do you have a painting of Francis Bacon?
Yeah.
Unfortunately not. Now, I wondered what brought you to Bragton Weil. I think, was it your grandmother who introduced you to this? No,
my parents.
Your parents, right, yeah.
Particularly my mother. Somehow they managed to bring her record collection to England. Not the Seven Deadly Sins. I never heard that until Hal Wilner played it to me. It must have got broken.
Okay.
I think, or it would be in there. But all the rest of it, the dry